Oliver Ellsworth and Plessy v. Ferguson, 1896, by Adrian Butler and Ricky Terrell.
Oliver Ellsworth. Early life. Ellsworth was born on April 29, 1745, in Windsor, Connecticut, to Captain David and Jemima Ellsworth. Education. Ellsworth first entered Yale in 1762, but he then transferred to College of New Jersey, now known as Princeton University, after his second year. He received his bachelor's degree in 1766 after 2 years. He then began to study law and was admitted to the bar in 1771. Professional career. Ellsworth served as the third Chief Justice of the United States from 1796 to 1800. He also served as a Senator of Connecticut from 1789 to 1796. Presidential appointment. On March 3, 1796, Ellsworth was nominated to be Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. The seat had been vacated by John Jay. John Rutledge, the man who was originally supposed to replace John Jay, was rejected by the Senate. William Cushing, the man who Washington had in mind next, declined the office. Ellsworth was soon confirmed by the Senate with a 21-1 majority vote. He took oath on March 8, 1796. Landmark cases. There were 4 cases that the Supreme Court issued rulings on during Ellsworth's incumbency. Hilton v. United States, 1796, which addressed the Supreme Court's power of judicial review upholding a federal carriage tax. Hollingsworth v. Virginia, 1798, confirmed that the president had no official role in the constitutional amendment process. Calder v. Bull, 1798, which held that the Constitution's ex post facto clause applied to only criminal, not civil cases. And New York v. Connecticut, 1789, which was the first use by the court under its original jurisdiction to hear controversies between 2 states. Interesting facts. He received 11 electoral college votes from 3 states in the 1796 presidential election, and he had a major part of drafting the U.S. Constitution. Oliver Ellsworth died on November 26, 1807, in Windsor, Connecticut. Plessy v. Ferguson, 1896. Who was involved? Plessy v. Ferguson was a landmark 1896 U.S. Supreme Court decision that upheld the constitutionality of racial segregation under the separate but equal doctrine. The case stemmed from an 1892 incident involving African-American train passenger Homer Plessy. When did this case happen? This incident happened in 1892 when Plessy had purchased a first-class ticket in the whites-only section. Where did the case originate? Plessy's activism was heightened in response to the Louisiana passing of laws segregating public facilities in 1890, including the Separate Car Act. What happened in the case? 30-year-old Plessy challenged legislation on behalf of a group called the Citizens Committee. In 1892, he purchased a first-class ticket on the East Louisiana Railroad and sat in the whites-only section. He then stated the conductor was 1/8 black and refused to move himself from the car. Ejected from the train, Plessy was jailed overnight and released on $500 bond. Why did this case go to the Supreme Court? Protesting the violation of his 13th and 14th Amendment rights, the History Makers Court case became known as Plessy v. Ferguson, with Judge John Howard Ferguson presiding. Plessy was found guilty, but the case went on to the Supreme Court in 1896. During the proceedings, Justice Williams Billings Brown defined the separate but equal clause. It supported segregation and the Jim Crow laws as long as each race's public facilities were equal. Supreme Court decision. On May 18, 1896, the Supreme Court delivered its verdict in Plessy v. Ferguson. The ruling was 7-1 in declaring separate but equal facilities constitutional on interstate railroads. Impact on American society. Many whites were angered and upset by the Supreme Court's decision, while blacks were happy that their rights were finally being respected.